Titans on the beat.
What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nazi with... Forget the intro. What did we just see? You guys know from my recent videos how I'm very cautious with expectations for this team, cautious with anything surrounding the team, and want to give you guys objective reviews, stuff like that. But I haven't been this hyped for a win, for a Washington football, Redskins, whatever you want to call us, win, since the Cowboys win almost 2 years ago. Remember with that strip sack? I think it was Ryan Kerrigan with that strip sack. Speaking of Ryan Kerrigan, I'm repping it right now. And he had a sack and a half, and had a fumble recovery on a Chase Young sack, who also added on 2 sacks. Our D-line was feasting today. We had 8 sacks, and I know the Eagles' offensive line, I mentioned this in the preview video for this week, I know the Eagles' offensive line isn't it, right? Especially with all the injuries that they had, and they had a lot of like second-string, third-string guys, but I didn't expect 8 sacks. Like that's insane. And oh my gosh, we started off losing by 17 points. And my first thought was like, "Oh shoot. Wow. So this is going to be that type of season, right?" I know I predicted 6-7 wins, but maybe I was going with a lower win total there after that start, but there was this one moment where I kept telling myself, "You know what? We believed in this team for me, at least for 13, 14 years, why not continue believing this team?" And I know there are fans out there who have believed in this team for a long, long time, even longer than me. So just stuck with it. And my dad even told me before he went off to work, he said, "You know what? They're down 17-0, but they're going to come back." And I was like, what? What are you talking about? There's no proof of this except for that Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. Kirk Cousins, you like that game, right? That we all know and remember and love. But we came back. And I haven't been this hyped for a win in like 2 years, and it's definitely a welcome sight for sure. It sucks that we didn't have fans there because at FedEx Field, because if we did, man, that place would have been rocking. Those 2 picks that our secondary had, Fabian Moreau and Jimmy Moreland, the People's Corner, who I met in training camp last year, and he's a super nice guy, and I'm just glad he's really showing out once and for all for our team. And guys, I'm so ecstatic. I was literally shaking for part of the game. Like I'm just really happy we got this W. I really am. Even my uncle messaged me earlier. I didn't like text anything or to anyone really until after the game. I was full on 0 dark 30 for most of the game, but my uncle even said, "Wow, this team is terrible. Like all this, all that." And I saw a little bit on Twitter. People are like, "Oh, this team's terrible. We're not gonna pull out the W." And I have to admit, I did kind of feel that way, but we won, and we started off the 2020 season on the right foot. Dwayne Haskins, I know the national media is going to be like, "Oh, this guy had 178 passing yards. He was 11 for 22, something like that, passing, one touchdown." He's not all that. He's not the future in DC, and I know all the stats people will probably think that, people who didn't watch the game. But for us who watched the game, even the announcers, Dwayne Haskins came on towards the end. I think he was like 10 for 14 and 105 yards, something like that towards the end of the game. I think it was during the second half, and he really was a constant presence for us, right? He didn't throw any picks. He reminded me a lot of Alex Smith 2 years ago for many reasons. One, he didn't throw any picks. 2, he was just the game manager, right? Like when you have a defense that's rocking like that during the second half after we fell 17 points and our defense was just making mistake after mistake, you don't really need someone who can throw you 300, 400 yards when your defense is carrying you to W's. And that's what happened in 2018, right, with Alex Smith. So I think Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins being under Alex Smith's tutelage a little bit, mentoring a little bit, helps definitely over the last 2 years, and he played a good game. Terry McLaurin, he was supposed to have an even bigger game than he had today, and unfortunately I started him in fantasy, but he was still pretty solid. Antonio Gibson, the rookie, who I keep telling you guys is an Alvin Kamara type back, might not be that right away, but he will become that one day. I really believe that. He had a pretty solid game. Maybe the stats don't show that he had that great of a game, but he was solid. And guys, I still can't believe we pulled out that W. Really, like if this was a Jay Gruden or Greg Minuski led team, we would have lost. I know for sure we would have lost. And to pull out the W, It's sort of the reverse of what happened last year, right? Week 1, we were up 17-0, and we just wet the bag, and the Eagles 2 long touchdowns, and that's all she wrote, right? But this year is a new year, and as I've been saying throughout the offseason, guys, we have a new sheriff in town. I really believe that. Roman Vera, thank you.